For the very first time across the entire 6-decade existence of Medicare, the program is about to begin covering a weight loss injection, $50 per month, for a medication that has been running some people $600 and $700 straight out of their own wallets. This is not a rumor circulating online. It is not a proposal sitting in committee. It is not something scheduled years from now. It begins this week. But here is the part that almost no one is talking about. That $50 injection is only one of 4 separate things hitting your finances this week, all arriving at the same time. The injection plus 3 brand new developments. And one of these 4 has the power to permanently change the size of the payment you receive for the remainder of your life. I'm going to tell you which one I would personally move on before the weekend arrives, and why the 4th one, an active scam operating right now, is the one capable of costing you absolutely everything if you do not know the precise script those callers are working from. I am Walter Barron. I have spent more than 15 years as a state bar-licensed estate attorney, sitting directly across the table from families working through their homes, their trusts, and their retirement finances. And here is the lesson those years drilled into me. Changes like these never show up as a letter in your mailbox. There is no reminder heading your way. The people who move in time are the ones who went out and looked for the information themselves. So stay right here with me. I'm going to walk you through all 4 in plain, straightforward language, in the order of what matters most to your financial life, and I will tell you exactly what action to take on each one. The injection comes first because the clock on it is already counting down. The Medicare GLP-1 Bridge. Let us begin with the one generating all the attention. It is called the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge. Starting this week, if you carry Medicare Part D drug coverage and you satisfy the medical requirements, certain weight loss injections and tablets will cost you a flat $50 per month. No tiered pricing structure. No deductible you have to exhaust before anything kicks in. The same $50 regardless of whether you are on the lowest available dose or the highest possible one. $50, full stop. To understand why that number is such a significant development, consider what these same medications cost when Medicare is not involved. The Zepbound KwikPen runs up to approximately $700 per month at the list price. Wegovy, available in both injection and the newer tablet form, runs several $100s monthly. The Rybelsus tablet sits within that same general range. So for any senior who looked into one of these options last year and quietly walked away from the pharmacy counter, this is not a modest discount. It is the difference between a door that was bolted shut and one that is now standing wide open. That same medication is now $50. So which specific drugs are included? The Wegovy injection and tablet, the Zepbound KwikPen, and the Rybelsus tablet. Those are the medications named within the program at this time, covered specifically when a doctor prescribes them for weight management, meaning using them to lose weight and maintain that loss over time. And there is a deadline attached, which is precisely why I'm leading with this one. The program launches this week and runs through the conclusion of December 2027. The government is describing this as a demonstration, a structured trial period during which Medicare will monitor the outcomes before determining whether to extend it permanently. Translation: this is a window. It is open right now. It is not guaranteed to remain open. If this is something you have been considering, the moment to have that conversation with your doctor is now, not 2 years from now, when you find yourself wondering whether the opportunity already passed. So who actually qualifies? There are 2 requirements to satisfy. The first is straightforward. You must be enrolled in a Medicare Part D plan. If you carry Part D, you have cleared the first hurdle. The second requirement is clinical in nature. It involves your body mass index, your BMI, combined with your existing health conditions. Here is how the program defines eligibility. You qualify with a BMI of 35 or higher. You qualify at 30 or above if you also have heart failure, uncontrolled elevated blood pressure, or chronic kidney disease. And you qualify at 27 or above if you also carry a diagnosis of prediabetes or have a history of heart attack, stroke, or peripheral artery disease. If you are uncertain about your BMI, your doctor's office can provide that number in under a minute, or you can enter your height and weight into any free BMI calculator available online. Now, 2 important clarifications, and I need you to pay close attention to both, because this is precisely where confusion tends to set in. First, and this is the detail almost no one understands, that $50 copayment does not count toward your Part D out-of-pocket maximum. In the current year, Medicare established a firm ceiling on what you pay out of pocket for Part D medications, $2,100. Once you reach that ceiling, your covered drugs cost you nothing for the remainder of the year. The Bridge program sits completely outside that system. Your $50 per month for the injection does not push you closer to that $2,100 ceiling. It does not count against your deductible either. It operates in its own entirely separate lane. That detail is meaningful because it means this program does not quietly chip away at the coverage you are already depending on. Second, this program exists exclusively for weight loss, and nothing beyond that. If you are already receiving one of these GLP-1 medications through your standard Part D plan because you have diabetes or a cardiovascular condition, you are not eligible for the Bridge because your situation is already addressed through the conventional coverage pathway. The Bridge was created specifically to close the one gap that Medicare historically refused to address, using these medications to manage body weight. That is the precise gap it fills and nothing more. So how do you actually access it? There is no website portal to navigate, no enrollment card arriving in the mail. You speak directly with your doctor. Your physician submits what is known as a prior authorization, the formal paperwork that communicates to Medicare that you satisfy the qualifying criteria. Once it receives approval, you fill the prescription at your pharmacy and pay your $50. Doctor, prior authorization, pharmacy. That is the full sequence. One word of patience is appropriate here because this program is brand new as of this week. Expect the initial weeks to involve some friction. Prior authorizations require processing time, and pharmacies are still getting up to speed. If a pharmacist tells you they have not heard of it, do not walk away. Ask them to look again and keep following up with your doctor's office. Let me make this concrete. Imagine someone like Margaret, 68 years old, enrolled in Medicare with Part D coverage. Her physician has told her for 2 full years that losing some weight would meaningfully reduce the strain on her blood pressure and her joints. She looked into one of these injections last year, saw the $700 price, and left without it. Under the Bridge program, if her BMI and health history satisfy the criteria, that same prescription now costs $50 monthly. That is exactly who this program was designed to serve. The person who wanted access to the option and could never financially justify it. And I can already hear the pushback because I have been hearing it all week. Walter, I was told Medicare is completely prohibited from covering weight loss drugs. You are partially correct. And here is where the situation becomes interesting. For years, a specific rule existed that prevented Medicare from paying for any drug prescribed solely for weight reduction. That restriction is precisely why this development carries so much weight. The Bridge program represents the government working around that long-standing barrier through a temporary demonstration so that seniors can gain access while the larger permanent policy decision continues to be debated. So the next time someone tells you Medicare simply does not cover weight loss medications, as of this week for a significant number of people, that statement is no longer accurate. One more question that keeps coming up. Is the $50 figure consistent everywhere, or does it vary depending on your specific plan or the state you live in? This is a national program administered directly by Medicare, not a benefit that one insurance carrier is offering while another declines. The $50 copayment is the same flat amount at every dose level. It does not vary based on which Part D plan you happen to be enrolled in. That is the fundamental purpose of a bridge. It extends over your existing coverage and fills the gap uniformly for every person who qualifies. What varies from one person to the next is not the price. It is whether you clear the 2 qualifying requirements, Part D enrollment and the clinical criteria, and how efficiently your doctor's office processes the paperwork. So here is your action step on this first development. 3 quick questions to ask yourself. Do you have Part D coverage? Do you satisfy the BMI and health condition criteria I just outlined? And are you seeking it specifically for weight management rather than already receiving it for diabetes or a heart condition? If all 3 answers are yes, contact your doctor's office this week and use the phrase Medicare GLP-1 Bridge. That is the program with a time limit attached. That is why it leads everything else today. Your raise is being calculated right now that covers the injection. But 3 additional developments landed in the same week, and the next one quietly determines how large your check will become January. Here is the part that surprises people. It is being determined right now, this month, during a window most people do not even realize exists. This is your cost of living adjustment, your COLA raise. And the reason it matters right now is that the clock measuring next year's increase has already started running. Here is what most people never learn. Your Social Security raise for next January is not invented from scratch in the autumn. It is measured across the summer months. The government examines price levels in July, August, and September, compares them against those same months from the prior year, and that comparison produces your raise. In other words, the figure that appears in your January payment is being actively calculated during these very months right now. The official announcement arrives in October. No one can tell you the confirmed number yet, and anyone claiming otherwise is speculating. But the independent research groups that monitor this closely are currently projecting a raise in the upper 3% range, which would represent an improvement over this year's 2.8%. If prices remain elevated throughout the summer, the number moves higher. If inflation moderates, it lands lower. You will not have the official figure until October, but the measurement that produces it is happening as we speak. And hold this fact firmly in mind because it becomes critically important in about 2 minutes. Your raise is completely automatic. You do not submit an application. You do not sign any paperwork. You never pay any kind of fee to receive it. It simply appears in your January payment. Keep that detail locked in. The 2032 deadline. Now, the third development, the one that has people genuinely anxious. I'm going to address it directly and efficiently because the fear surrounding it is precisely what the fourth item today exploits. This past June, the federal government released its annual assessment of the long-term financial condition of Social Security. The headline finding was that the primary trust fund, the one responsible for retirement and survivor benefits, is projected to face a shortfall around the year 2032 if Congress takes no action between now and that point. Let me be completely transparent with you. Nothing about your check has changed today. No legislation has been passed. No benefit reduction has been enacted. What exists is a deadline several years in the future and an ongoing debate in Washington about how to address it. A debate that will only intensify as election season approaches. There are various proposals being discussed. Not a single one has become law. None of them affect the payment you are receiving this month. So why raise it at all? For one specific reason. A frightening headline about Social Security running dry is precisely the kind of news that bad actors exploit to frighten people into actions they would never otherwise take. Which brings us directly to the fourth development. The scam you must know cold. Of everything covered today, this is the one I most need you to carry with you. This applies to every single person watching, not because you are destined to become a victim, but because knowing the precise playbook these individuals operate from is the most powerful protection available to you. Consider these numbers. In 2025, the Federal Trade Commission recorded more than 330,000 complaints involving government impersonation scams, people falsely presenting themselves as representatives of Social Security, Medicare, or other federal agencies. That represents a 25% increase within a single year. Financial losses among older adults run into the billions, and the overwhelming majority of cases go unreported because victims feel too embarrassed to come forward. And these are not the clumsy robocalls from a decade ago. Modern scammers use technology to replicate familiar voices over the telephone. They purchase stolen medical records so that when they call, they already know your physician's name and your current medications, which makes them sound disturbingly credible. Some go so far as to mail correspondence on what appears to be authentic Social Security letterhead. So here is what you need to have memorized before that phone rings, not working to recall it while someone is pressuring you. Commit to memory the things the real Social Security Administration will never do. It will never call to inform you that your Social Security number has been suspended. Numbers do not get suspended. That is not something that happens. It will never threaten you with arrest or legal action. It will never demand immediate payment by phone, not through gift cards, not by wire transfer, not via cryptocurrency, not with cash placed in an envelope. It will never charge you any fee whatsoever to receive your COLA raise. Remember what I told you, that raise is fully automatic and costs you absolutely nothing. It will never reach out to you about your benefits through any social media platform, and it will never instruct you to keep the conversation private. If any single one of those things occurs, you are dealing with a scam. It does not matter what name appears on your caller ID because that can be fabricated. It does not matter how much they already seem to know about your personal situation. It does not matter how professional and official they sound. The real government operates slowly and communicates with you through the mail. Anyone on the telephone manufacturing urgency and concluding with a demand for payment is not a government representative. Here is exactly what to do. Hang up. Do not press any number. Do not remain on the line to argue your case. Do not return the call using any number they provided. Simply hang up. If you choose to report it, visit the Social Security Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov and file a report, or reach the fraud hotline directly at 1-800-269-0271. 2 habits that stop these individuals before they even gain a foothold. First, establish and actively protect your online My Social Security account at ssa.gov. Claim your own account before someone else creates one. Using your identity, because a fraudulent account opened in your name, is one of the primary methods used to redirect your payments elsewhere. Second, monitor your direct deposit with genuine vigilance. If you ever receive any notification indicating your direct deposit information was changed and you made no such change, treat it as an emergency and contact Social Security immediately using only the number listed on their official website. Never a number provided to you by anyone on the phone. Bringing it all together. Now, if you are sitting there thinking this is a great deal of information to hold on to at once, you are absolutely right. Between the weight loss bridge, the raise being measured across this summer, the long-term deadline sitting out in 2032, and scams that grow more sophisticated every month, it is genuinely challenging to keep it all organised. And that is the output from a single week. That is the reason I assembled the Senior Money Playbook. It is a plain language guide covering the moves that genuinely protect your financial life, the social security traps, the property tax relief programs, the bank account and fraud protections, all of it written out with precise steps in language designed for people over 65 and readable on any phone, tablet, or computer screen. If you would prefer having everything organised in one place rather than scattered across dozens of videos, the link is available in the description below. Consider it the companion reference to everything on this channel. Now let me bring all 4 together in sequence so you leave with a clear plan, and then I will point you directly to the one video I recommend watching immediately after this one. Here is the complete picture for this week. First, the most time-sensitive development. The Medicare GLP-1 Bridge launches this week. If you carry Part D coverage and you meet the BMI and health condition requirements, specific weight loss medications are now $50 monthly through the end of 2027. This is the one to act on immediately. Call your doctor this week and say the words Medicare GLP-1 Bridge. Second, this summer is the active measurement period for your 2026 raise. The official figure arrives in October and your raise is fully automatic. No one is ever required to pay any fee to receive it. Third, a genuine long-term deadline exists for Social Security around 2032, but nothing has been legislated and nothing affects your check today. Do not allow a frightening headline to push you toward any hasty decision. And fourth, government impersonation scams are occurring at record levels. The real Social Security Administration will never threaten you, never rush you, and never demand payment over the phone. If that happens, hang up and report it at oig.ssa.gov. One thing I want to state clearly because it genuinely matters. Everything shared today is general information intended to help you understand these developments and ask better questions. It is not medical guidance and it is not legal counsel. Whether any of these weight loss medications is appropriate for your specific situation is a conversation for you and your personal physician. Any question about your individual Social Security or Medicare circumstances should be directed to your own advisor or straight to the relevant agency. And one final action, the most meaningful one you can take for the people you care about. Forward this to someone who receives Social Security or Medicare benefits. These changes arrive without any letter and without any warning. The person who hears about them in time is the person who gets to take action. Then watch this next. Remember that final warning about monitoring your direct deposit? Social Security just updated 3 separate rules governing exactly how your money reaches your bank account. And most seniors have not encountered these changes yet. It is the natural continuation of everything we just walked through. I broke down all 3 changes and the precise steps to take on each one in the video appearing on your screen right now. Head there next. I will see you in it.